Everybody, I'm Starla.
I'm Mik.
And we are Our Family Plays Games.
Yeah.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. Now, this is a special one.
It's a special episode.
So kick it, Starla.
Bienvenidos, mis amigos. Nosotros estamos celebrando Mes de la Herencia Hispana. Me gustaría hacer todo este episodio en español, pero mi español es limitado. So anyway, for my non-Spanish speaking friends, I just want to say welcome to this episode where we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
And I also wanted to explain to my Spanish speaking friends that I will not be doing this episode in Spanish because my Spanish is muy limitado.
But you always wanted it to be good.
I've always wanted to speak Spanish, and I studied it in college. I studied it in high school. But I never became fluent. I have a few phrases here and there, and that's the best I can do. But I love the language. I love Te amo español muy bien.
And to me, the Hispanic, culture, really have, influenced this, this country so much, and brought us so much joy, and some of the names that we see because they have influence, from politics, entertainment, food. They have influenced so much, and those people like Cesar Chavez, and his partner in crime, or no, not partner in crime, partner in revolution, civil rights, is Dolores Huerta. Both of them, really changed things. And I really love that. And she, Dolores is still alive to this day and still kicking it and still talking about the betterment of everybody. And that's so cool. And then you also have, the person that's bringing the funny, George Lopez. My man. George Lopez. He brings the funny. And he really, brings it about his culture. And I really enjoy that. And then also, someone that I grew up with on Sesame Street is Rita Moreno. The great actress.
Yes, she is.
And she just didn't start off just doing Sesame Street. She was in West Side Story.
Yes,
doing her thing.
Maria.
Doing her thing.
Yes.
And then, you had great athletes like Roberto Clemente. Even though he died tragically in a plane, accident, he was still such a great man, great player, and great man, because people miss him and talk about him, how he was so generous and he wanted to help everybody. And, that's just a great thing. And then, the last person that I want to mention.
Last but not least,
is a man that has influenced pop culture right now and heavily, and that's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, him bringing the thunder with Hamilton. What else can you say? And he's still doing stuff. Yes. It's just great man. So those people. Those people have really influenced and influenced me too. And I really do appreciate that. Yes. So now we're going to go on to our sponsors.
Our sponsors, they are up next. But before we go, I just want to say, este episodio es para mis hermanos and mis hermanas.
Yes.
For my brothers and sisters.
Yes. I think I didn't know what you said.
That's okay.
I need to learn, y'all. I need to learn.
So this episode is for you guys, and we thank you guys for being part of our culture. We're just better because we know part of the culture. We got a chance to experience it, and America is better for it.
Yes, yes it is. Just like the people I mentioned before. How much just special joy they brought into this culture.
Exactly.
For the good or the bad.
That's right.
Because, Cesar and Dolores, they fought hard for civil rights. So, it's the good and the bad, but they brought it in.
So next up, we'll hear a word from our sponsors.
Yes.
Kids Table Board Gaming. Making casual games for the serious gamers and serious games for the casual gamers. Publisher of Fossilis, Rec Raiders, Haunt the House, their upcoming game Creature Comforts, and many, many more. Visit kidstablebg.com to see a complete catalog. Many Worlds Tavern, an online coffee company for the tabletop. Enhance your gaming experience with coffee for game night. Check out their lineup of unique flavors such as Holy House, a comfort blend, Dragon's Nest, an adventurous brew, Great Old One, a long dark roast, or if you need decaf, try Electric Sheep. $1 from every purchase will go to a gaming-related nonprofit. The first 100 customers to use code OFPG10 will receive 10% off their purchase. For more information, visit manyworldstavern.com. KTBG and Many Worlds Tavern.
Yes.
Awesome sponsors.
Awesome sponsors.
Yes.
KTBG. We still got to talk about, power plants. We still got to do that.
Power plants.
Because we're so excited. We're going to play that.
Yes,
I'm ready to play that.
Yes.
But, still waiting for that Creature Comfort.
Yes, we are.
I'm waiting for that one.
We are.
Yeah, waiting for that one. And also, my daily, my daily thing.
Yes, Many Worlds
Coffee
Tavern.
time. Coffee time.
He's addicted to the
coffee time. Love it.
All right, so tell me what's going on next.
Now, I want to spotlight one, one designer, Hispanic designer that's doing some good things out there, good things, and that's Julio Julio Nazario, and he's from Asheville, North Carolina, and he is doing some good things.
Oh, okay.
It's two games that we have, and that's Holy Festival of Colors.
Oh, I love that.
We love that one. He did that, and he also did Control.
Oh, Control.
Yes, he did Control, and we have both of those.
Yes,
and they are treasured in our collection.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are
So
treasured.
that's our spotlight.
That's our spotlight. So thank you, Julio, for the things you do. Keep on kicking it, man. Keep on kicking it. Now we have some contributors that we're gonna, come on and ask, answer some questions that we gave them, about, Hispanic Heritage Month and what game and some board games.
Information about them as well. So we get a chance to introduce to some and present to others.
Yes.
A bunch of contributors, and we're so happy that we know them.
Yes, we are very happy. Now, the first one is Jazz from the hot. Well, they're not in order because they could be coming anyway.
No, they're not in order.
Yeah, but it's Jazz from the Lobby of Hobbies, which is on YouTube. He's a content creator. Then we have Roberto of Shear Boardom and Shear Boardom Table Talk, and he's on YouTube too. And he also does a lot of things on Instagram. And then we also have Annette of Nettersplays. Now, I saw Annette first from the Dice Tower. She was doing a thing, and she had her little cockatoo.
Oh, she has a bird.
And she has a little bird named Gizmo. Gizmo always been around. Love Gizmo. And she is a content creator too. Okay. And then also we have Jason Perez. The man. And he's of Shelf Stories. He's a YouTube content creator. Now, Jason, he comes with the heat. Yes. Now, somebody who wants to talk about tough issues in the board game community and basically just of life, he comes with it. Yeah. And he talks about it.
That's what he does.
And that's why we love him, because diversity and inclusion, he comes with the heat on it. And we do appreciate him for that. And he takes a lot of heat, but he comes with it. We appreciate you, Jason. Then we also have Estefania, and she's an art producer at Funko Games and also a game designer. And we're looking forward to her game Pop Fighters. Popcat Fighters. We are looking for that. So Estefania, thank you so much. Now also we have Luna of Aspire Gamer Girl. Aspire Gamer Girl, yes. And she does some amazing stop motion videos.
She does.
Amazing.
We actually had a chance to meet her.
Yes.
We talked with her on the show. I should say, actually, we've met most of the people we've talked to. I think the only one I haven't met is
Annette.
Annette.
Yes.
But everybody else we've talked to, we've met, and I enjoyed being in the conversation with her, so I'm excited to hear what she has to say.
And she has some really good, she's a content creator on YouTube too, and she does a lot of photography also. So those are the 6 content creators that are coming on board, and also designers, game designers, that's coming on board to give us some really cool stuff for Hispanic Heritage Month. Yeah, you know I'll just be going all over the place. But I really appreciate all of them.
Yes.
We love them all.
Yes, we do.
And we really are excited for them to come on and give some, some good wisdom.
Good information.
Good wisdom.
And we're just so excited that we get a chance to introduce them on our channel. They most of them have their own channels, but we're just happy to have them on the OFPG channel. And we hope that our audience will stick around, hear what they have to say, give us comments, as my husband always says. We want to hear what you thought about what they had to say, and we're just happy to share it with you.
So here we go. Hit it.
What is going on, everyone? This is your boy Jazz over at the Lobby of Hobbies. But Mik, Starla, Grant, I want to thank you guys for having me on for Hispanic Heritage Month. So of course, I'm representing my Boricuas with the Puerto Rico hat. But thank you guys for what you're doing for this hobby, your love and your passion. It's infectious. Keep up the awesome work. But you had 3 questions for me, so let's get into it. How do I encourage people of color who are non-gamers to get into the board gaming hobby? I think for me, what I do is I like to cater to their interests and their hobbies already. Whatever they're into, I'll pick games according to that. Then if they're into mass market games like Monopoly, yes, I know there are better ones out there, so we're pushing that out the way. We're bringing in Raccoon Tycoon just because it has that economic element, has an awesome bidding system, and it's a great family weight game. For all my friends who are spades players, I'm bringing Skull King off of my shelf 100% of the time, every single time. That way you get that spades feel and you have a good time knowing what this hobby has to offer. But why is diversity and inclusion important to me? For me, it comes down to not only building a safe space and an environment now, but it's about building it for the generation to follow. Being a father of a 2-year-old daughter, I'm always thinking about what I can do to have a better path for her in the future. So if she's gonna be into whatever hobby that she enjoys, I want to create a safe space. So if it's being a nerd like her father playing board games, I'm gonna encourage that, but I want to build that now because what we do now has a lasting effect on them in the future. That's what it's all about for me. Lastly, my 3 favorite games. These are going to be in alphabetical order. First one is Anachrony. I just love it. It's a heavier game. I'm a worker placement junkie, so I love the worker placement. I love jumping into those exosuits, jumping into the future, grabbing the resources that I need, coming back, hopefully trying to build myself up for the win before that cataclysmic explosion comes down. So the mechanics and theme is just something that I love. Number 2, Clank, a deck building adventure. I think it's just a great game for new gamers, experienced gamers, quick, easy deck building game that, you're diving into a dungeon, trying to gather some resources and try to get out alive. I just love that one. It goes over well every single time. And lastly, viticulture. My wife and I are big fans of visiting wineries and just understanding how the winemaking process works. And this game has, again, worker placement game, but has some awesome mechanics, awesome theme behind it. I think that we just both love, and it's best with the Tuscany expansion. So if you don't have that, definitely get that one. But again, thank you guys so much. Love you and wish you guys all the best.
So confession time. I've been struggling with my Latino identity for a long time now, but it wasn't until I really explored this hobby of board games and had conversations with other Spanish and Latino content creators, some other Spanish and Latino, as people on Instagram and on Facebook that made me want to tap into my Latin heritage. So because of this fantastic hobby, I'm now speaking more Spanish at work. I throw in a huepa here and there. I've been loving having this space where I feel not alone, because with what I do at work, there isn't a lot of people of color where I work, so I feel slightly isolated from time to time. So I really enjoy the diversity and inclusion within this board gaming space that we have here. It feels just great to be represented. I absolutely love being represented. I'm now with board games coming out too. They're hiring cultural consultants, and I'm finally seeing me in a board game. I'm all about that. I have been encouraging everyone I meet, and I meet and see a lot of different people. I am a hairstylist. I'm always cutting hair. Absolutely love to do that. to play more games. I say, hey, what do you like to do? Let's talk about games. In this particular instance, for people of color, my family, for example, I talk about some of the old times with them, whether we got together by playing dominoes, playing brisca, other card games, and I offer to play a new game with them with the same sort of mechanics. And then when I come into conversations with other people, I try to make that same connection, try to talk to them about their childhood and see if there were any games in their childhood. And surprisingly, there's a lot of people who talk about Monopoly or Uno. Someone gave them tons of draw fours, and it's such a good time. And this is my end to go into some of the stories about board games that I've had, whether it's themes, mechanics, from games that I've played, and the reaction others have when I say you can be an animal in a forest with a big tree, or out in space collecting cards, right? Like a la pitch. We can play pitch, but we're out in space. Or for those who are super competitive, help the world during a pandemic, which is topical. And I bet if they're able to play this game and complete the game, which is hard, we all know it's difficult, they'll feel great about that. My top 3 games right now: Nemesis, because it's spooky season. Love me some spooky season. It's also a great semi-cooperative game. Dwellings of Eldervale, because of all the different mechanics, they just work so smoothly together. And Space, especially Space. I just played Space, and now it's climbed up to top 10 easily, maybe even top 5, because it's easy to teach and it engages everyone at the table.
Hello everyone, my name's Annette, and you may know me as Nettersplays. And of course, I have my friend here, Gizmo. Now, we are here to celebrate National Hispanic Month, and I would like to thank Our Family Plays Games for having me on this show. Now, I myself was born in Los Angeles, but my family is from Mexico. And not only that, but my grandmother also raised me. So every time we had a winter break or a summer break or any 3-day weekend, I would always be with my grandparents and we would always head out to Mexico. There I was introduced to my extended family, and a lot of times they didn't speak English and I didn't speak Spanish so well, so a way to kind of connect us together is by playing these games. We would play a lot of games like Parcheesi or cards, games that aren't necessarily language based. And that was a great way to kind of connect us without having a barrier like language. Now, working with other people of color or just people in general that aren't necessarily that great at English, a way to include them is to play these games that aren't necessarily language based, but are also a lot of fun and quick to learn and easy to introduce. So some games that are not based on language, our examples are like Push It or even King Domino. You know, things that don't have the language print on them. And that doesn't include a barrier for them. And I'm also here because of the diversity and inclusiveness that the hobby provides. Now, because there are so many different types of board games, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly which games fit with which types of people. Some people like to play heavier games, others just like to play simple filler games. And a way to include them is kind of just by playing them. And a way to kind of create a diverse space is by introducing your family to them, and friends of course. But also just being open to having people that don't necessarily look like you, but also having them kind of, you know, have fun and just being friendly with them and introducing them to games. So I'm also going to offer 3 games that I love myself to introduce to new gamers of all types. One of those games is Carcassonne. Carcassonne is a classic. No language barriers, simple rules, and all you're doing is just laying a tile. So you think. Except that's where the complexity comes out, is where you place those tiles. And also what you're drawing from the bag is so random, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get next. And that brings about a lot of fun in Carcassonne. Another game that I would also offer to new gamers is Catch the Moon. Now that's more of a dexterity game, and of course that game requires a lot of finesse to it, a lot of fine movement. However, it's also a lot of fun because you can quickly play that game and everyone can take turns trying to maneuver their ladders and place them in the correct spaces. Now that game is also not too long, so if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. You can always move on to a next game, which is like Strike. Now Strike is always a family favorite because you're simply throwing dice into this stadium and you're kind of just knocking the dice out and trying to match the pairs. It's very simple to introduce and it gets a lot of people involved as well. So thanks again for our Family Plays Games to inviting me on this show. Again, happy National Hispanic Month, and I hope you all are doing well. Bye.
Yo, my peoples, what's up? My name is Jason Perez. I am from the Shelf Stories YouTube channel. Thank you so much to Mik and Starla, our Family Plays Games, my family, for inviting me to help them celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. I am full-blood Puerto Rican, and I'm coming at you from New York City. Why is diversity and inclusion important to me? Well, I wouldn't be here without it. Diversity and inclusion are how we got Latinos and Latinas. It's how I got here as a Latino male in the first place. Hispanic culture comes from three different, very distinct cultures coming together and something new and beautiful emerging over the centuries. We come from European Spanish coming over during the Age of Discovery. We get our language and many of our cultural and religious expressions from that area. We come from African brothers and sisters. We come from our Afro-Caribbeans. Don't have to talk about how they got here, but their food, their music, their own religious expression, so many other things live on in our own cultural expression. We also come from First Nations, Native Americans, in my particular case as a Puerto Rican, the Taino Indians, that fact that I celebrate by making my logo a Taino sun. So three cultures come together, something beautiful emerges. Why is diversity more important now? Because who knows, other things could emerge. As we like to say, some of us like to say in our community, the future is mestizo. All right, so how do we get there? How do we get to a truly inclusive community? I think, at least for my part, it is in the title of a series of videos that I have that I talk about culture called Good Trouble. Good Trouble comes from Representative John Lewis, civil rights leader and serving in the House of Representatives for so many decades. He talked about causing folks trouble. He talked about people who are comfortable. I think of it like a bench, and there's one person on the bench, and they're kind of spread out a little bit, and there's not a lot of room for people on the bench. So what's the trouble? Excuse me, sir, can we close that up a little bit? Can we make a little bit of room for black and white and brown and red and yellow and every single person, doesn't matter where they're from, everybody belongs in that bench. So maybe that person thinks that we're causing them trouble, but for us, it's necessary, good trouble, because that's what we want. And it's good. It's not just trouble. We're not just causing trouble. Despite some of the comments that I get, some of the pushback that I get, I keep on going. I'm empowered to keep going because I know I have a living sense that this is good trouble, necessary trouble, constructive, kind at the end of the day. I like to think that I offer medicine to the peoples. Maybe not everybody likes the taste of that medicine, but here it is. I think that some of my videos, the work that Mik and Starla is doing, even though it's causing trouble, even though it's making people uncomfortable, making them close up a little bit to make room, I think all of us benefit. At the end of the day, we're not trying to get rid of nobody. We're just trying to make space for everyone to be involved. All right, so what are my three favorite games? I love cooperative games. You can see my my shelf, a lot of cooperative games representation, but I don't get a lot of Latin representation in my cooperative games. Someone go ahead and hook me up. Make me a beautiful Latin-themed cooperative game. But in the meantime, there's some multicultural stuff that I like to enjoy. I'm going to talk about this one first, right over here. Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories is more, it's Asian. It's more like kind of martial arts, kung fu movie as opposed to a celebration of the culture as they live it. But I'll take it. It's not the same old thing, and it's an excellent game. You're a Taoist monk defending the Sentinel tiles against monsters out of cards that are coming through tower defense style. Very, very cool. I also love Days of Ire. Where is it? Right there. Budapest 1956, also the follow-up Knights of Fire, but I want to talk about Days of Ire, the first one. Cooperative game about the student uprisings, Budapest 1956. Every single person out there, I don't care what color you are, my Hungarian brothers and sisters, especially in the student revolutions against Soviet resistance, if you're marginalized, if you're on the butt end of power, then you got love from this person right here, and it's an excellent cooperative game from David Tercey. Highly recommend it. Last I got Pandemic. You see a whole bunch of it. There it is right there. Pandemic, but the original classic Pandemic. Again, cooperative game, saving the world from disease, hand management, that type of stuff. And a multicultural cast of characters. Lots of different characters you can play. And there's, women and different ethnicities and all sorts of good representation here in Pandemic as well. Just the icing on the cake for me. It's an excellent game that I've been playing for years and I'll play forever. So that is me, Jason Perez, again, from the Shelf Stories YouTube channel. I really appreciate the subscription, but we're not here for that. We're here for Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you so much for the platform. And I like to say, if you could change your mind, you could change the world, people. So until next time, later, everybody.
Hello, Mik, Starla, and Grant. I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for having me be part of your video and part of this whole thing you're doing. So I thank you very much. Okay, let's get started. The first question is, how do you encourage people of color who are non-gamers to play board games? I think a great way to encourage people of color who are non-gamers to play board games is to start off with asking them to join you at the table. Try to get to know them and try to see what kind of themes and what kind of games they might want to play. There's different types of games and not everyone wants to play the same. Sometimes maybe they don't know what they want to play since they are non-gamers. They may not have that much knowledge. So try to bring something light, something that's relatable, or, something with veggies or something with food or something, a lot of people like pirates, a lot of people like zombies, that kinds of stuff. Maybe that's a little more common for people to see in board games. Might be something that makes them more comfortable as opposed to something that's really heavy or unfamiliar to them. Why is diversity and inclusion in gaming important to you? So inclusion and diversity in gaming is very important because I think it kind of relates to the first statement or the first question about bringing people in who are non-gamers. It kind of goes hand in hand. Because if we have more inclusivity in games, it'll bring more people in because more people can see themselves in those games. And it's not just seeing themselves as a character, but your color, your skin, your ethnicity. It's about bringing also themes that maybe they're kind of hobbies, right? So in more modern gaming these days, we have games like Wingspan, right, which is about like birds and bird watching in a sense, and it's about their migration and how it all works. And that's something that wasn't common before, and that brings up people who've never played games into gaming. There's other things too, like Tokyo Hybrid here, right, that I have. I think it's a great game because it doesn't have anything visually overstimulating, but it's really pretty. It's really nice. It's a great game, lots of colors and lots of fun. So I think that kind of stuff really helps people feel more comfortable, which makes people all kinds of colors and all kinds of places come and play and willing to learn more about it. So I think being inclusive, and when you think about other kinds of people besides like you, is a great thing. Also, that is about color blindness. Like, that's something to keep in mind as well, because if we don't keep those things in mind, then people who are colorblind may not have an easy time playing certain games that are dependent on color. But if we use shapes for stuff like that, maybe instead of like red, blue, and green, we have circle, square, and diamond or something like that. That makes it inclusive. It makes that person now be able to play without it being a struggle because they can't figure out quite the colors that they are seeing. List 3 of your favorite games and why. I do have quite a few favorite games, but I'm going to pick some of the most recent ones that I've played that are really fun. One of them is Abandoned Artichokes. So that is a great game. It's actually a great game for an entry game for like deck builders or like deck destroyers. where you get to play all these little cute veggies are in the middle, and you have this garden, and then you get to draw them and try to get rid of the artichokes that you have in your hand. And that whole process is very intuitive, and it's very fun and cutesy. So I like to play that with people who don't often play games, because I feel that it's kind of an easy gateway kind of game. My second game is actually Tokyo Highway. Like I've mentioned before that it's a very bright game. It's a lot of nice fun colors. There's no icons, there's nothing to really read. Once you know the rules of where you can place your little wooden tokens and try to build these buildings and these highways, and then you put your sticks and you have the cars move around. That's really fun. It's simple. You get to play with kids, and it's kind of fun to see, when they're carefully putting something on top of the little car. And same thing with adults. It makes it really fun, especially when things kind of go wrong and they all fall over. That's really fun. And then another game that I really like that I don't have here because I play in the app is Sagrada. So that is a great game. I think it's beautiful. I wish I had a physical game, but in the app, I really enjoy the solo mode. It's kind of soothing and calming, drafting the die and trying to match the colors or match the numbers to build this beautiful thing at the end. Because even if I lose, which I do often, I have fun through the process, and at the end I have something really nice to look at. So to me, Sagrada is a great game to play on my own. I have played with other people as well, which it is fun. But I think the solo mode is my favorite mode in that game because it's very soothing. That's all I have to say. Again, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Hi everyone, this is Luna from Aspie Gamer Girl, and I was asked how I encourage people of color to play board games. I honestly don't have a straight answer specifically for people of color, so I'm just gonna tell you how I encourage board gamers to play. I try to figure out what type of games they will enjoy, either by the theme of the game or how the game plays itself. I try not to push them into games that they are not into it, or not to push them to play games all the time, but to actually show them like this magic power that games can have. That is like to bring people together. Although I don't have like a specific strategy for people of color, I do strongly believe that representation and diversity in games matter. And it's always lovely to come across with a game that you can relate to. Like you see the characters and you feel that you are part of it, that you belong, Before this, I have always felt like an outsider in any other context. I have never felt like super welcome to places. I have never felt like I belong so much to a place like the board game community. Seriously, a lot of people is like, oh yeah, why do you have to talk about diversity and inclusion all the time? But when you are coming from a place that you always felt that you didn't belong, and then from that place you become member of a community, man, that is just awesome. So talking about my favorite games, that is a hard one. Star Realms is one of my favorite games. I love how portable it is. I love that it's for 2 players. I love how fast it is. It's easy to learn. Sight has like a powerful thing on it. It's an asymmetrical game. Sometimes asymmetrical games can be really like unbalanced, or like if you have this character, or if you have this map, this is what you have to do, period. Sight is not like that. Then it combines a little bit of combat, but not too much. So I think that Sight has like a complement of like every little piece that they take, and they put it in just one game in such a smooth way I just love it. And the third one, I'm gonna do a genre instead of a specific game. I am getting really into roll and write. Even if you are playing solo or multiplayer, the game plays as well. Generally, you are just focusing on your own board, and I like that. Most of the time they have puzzles involved. And yeah, I hope that this answers your questions, and thank you so much for having me.
We were so excited to share our contributors with you today. I hope our audience stuck around like we said earlier. And we just want to say thank you to each of you for taking the time to contribute something to our show in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Gracias.
No, gracias.
Gracias. Yeah. No, well, I was supposed to say gracias.
Yeah, you say thank you. Gracias.
That's gracias?
Gracias.
I said it right. All right. Gracias. Yeah.
Not so much on the gra, but
okay. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning.
Gracias,
family.
Miss Amigos. Thank you so much for being on our show. And again, we just appreciate all of you.
Now, Starla, first, what about our merch?
Well, if you haven't got an Our Family Plays game shirt, cup, mug, pillow, sign, something, what you waiting for?
Go check it out. We're still working on it because we have some technical glitches, but we're still working on it.
We are.
And Starla, where can they find OFPG out here in this crazy social media and TV land? Where?
Well, if you're looking for Our Family Plays Games, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on YouTube.
Right here.
And if you're in Omaha, Nebraska,
local,
you can find us on Cox Channel 22, Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. and Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m.
That's right. Now, family, we love when you talk to us. Just tell us what's up because we talk right back. And family, be safe out there and always know, we love you.
Adios.
Bye-bye.